This is the Big Island, Channel 6, Hawaii at its best.
Welcome back to Weekly Highlights, taking a walk through the Kona Botanical Gardens down here in Keauhou. Well, at this point in the show, we bring in Reed Flickinger. Tonight, part 2 of his talks with Albert Lono Lyman, Planning Director for the County of Hawaii, on Issues and Insights.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues and Insights. I'm Reed Flickinger. Tonight we're joining County Planning Director Albert Lono Lyman in a continuation of our discussion from last week about the County General Plan revision and update. Last week we began talking about this document, which is revised and updated about once every decade. It serves as the basic long-range planning document in an ordinance form and establishes policy for what will happen and where in the years ahead in terms of planning and development. Mr. Lyman, in this new general plan, as your department has now proposed it, it has to go through public hearings, and then following that, what is the procedure before it is becomes an ordinance?
Well, the first step is the step that started on July 21st, which is a 90-day review involving the public. That's followed by a review by the Planning Commission, which involves formal public hearings, and then it goes to the Council, where there are additional hearings held.
In terms of the general plan as it is now proposed in its draft form, looking at West Hawaii, there are a number of areas of concern specifically that were addressed in such previous planning documents as the proposed Kona Regional Plan. Those included agriculture, specifically Kona coffee, and housing. What is being done to address the agricultural situation in this new draft of the general plan?
Well, as I indicated in the previous discussion last week, the areas such as agriculture can be addressed both in the text and the map, and there are things in the text right now addressing it. There could be adjustments to the existing general plan map that would also address it.
Okay, when you say it's being addressed, in terms of the policy of the general plan, are those coffee lands being protected, guarded, or are they being regarded as important economically and perhaps culturally and for the visitor industry?
They're being regarded as an important part of what exists in Kona and as something that should be protected.
I see. Going back to housing, let's begin by looking at residential housing. In terms of the next 10 years that fall into the scope of this proposed general plan and in the draft form, what are we looking at in terms of forecast needs for residential housing in West Hawaii? Are those figures established?
Those figures are not established in terms of West Hawaii. They are established overall with respect to population projections that are then translated into land use needs by district.
From your vantage point in the planning department, you see the proposals that come in every time somebody wishes to subdivide land, develop a building, or for that matter, add on to a building and seek a building permit. You are aware of this. From that perspective, what are you seeing in terms of the request and demand for continued residential growth in the West Hawaii area?
As I indicated last week, the demand for housing is linked with the growth of jobs, and in West Hawaii, the growth in jobs is expected to be quite substantial. As far as the development area for residential, it would follow the existing patterns, as well as filling in areas such as between Kailua Kona and the Kona Palisades region.
In the past several years, in terms of the larger residential subdivisions, some questions have come up about requirements for sewage disposal or for water and different concerns with that infrastructure. Are those addressed at all in this general plan draft?
Well, those are addressed through the various elements of the general plan, and as the general plan suggests, in very general terms.
Okay, let's look at the other end of housing, if you will, that which doesn't get a lot of front page notoriety in terms of those developments, and that's the low and moderate income housing. We've got developments going up at the Hyatt. We've got another one kind of at the starting gate, let's say, at South Kohala Resort, Mauna Kea Properties. Those will have to have employee or low-income housing requirements, as will many other proposed developments. Is there a specific area that is being looked at now for that low and moderate income housing development?
Within the general plan, review, there are 6 proposals for new areas that have been suggested by private developers. In addition, the county is looking at 3 areas involving state land, and they are Lalamilo, Kealakehi, and the area west of the airport, above the ag park.
Has there been any discussion or perhaps communication with the state in regard to the possibility of these lands becoming available? And if so, has the state indicated at what cost? Will it be on a comparable parity level with the fair market value, or is there any consideration for a lower cost?
Well, there have been discussions involving the county administration, Department of Land and Natural Resources, and HHA, which are both state agencies.
But have they given any indication as far as price?
The pricing discussions have not been yet addressed.
Do you think that being in an election year and a possibility of a major change in the administration statewide could have an effect on these future housing developments?
I can't speculate as to what impact the election year aspect would have on it.
Okay. Let's go to a couple specific cases, and those were ones that I mentioned earlier. The Hyatt Regency Waikoloa, 1,260-room development, destination resort at Waikoloa, and also the South Kohala Resort, 350-room resort development with associated residential and multifamily development as well. I understand from County Councilman Robert Herkes that the housing requirement has been set forth for South Kohala Resort, but as yet there has been no specific housing requirement laid down for the Hyatt project. Is that in fact correct?
Well, it's correct in both cases to some extent, that there have been discussions with respect to the South Kohala Resort regarding how they will fulfill their housing requirements, and we are in the process of finalizing discussions with the Transcon concerning the Hyatt housing condition.
In terms of those discussions, is it primarily a question of where, when, and how much?
It's essentially those 3 things.
I see. Let's get back to the general plan document itself, and as you can see, I'm sure you're well aware of how much time it took to put this together. Is it important from your vantage point for members of the community to know what's in that document and to take an interest in it and then respond in kind to the county government?
Well, I think it's very important in that it is the major policy document of the county guiding land use development and virtually every aspect of county government that's related to the general plan. And it's important for the public to be involved now, in as much as it's still in its formative stage.
I see. Is the document and are the maps, when they become available, will these be available to people to look at anywhere here in West Hawaii?
Well, the document is presently available in West Hawaii through the County Service Office, which is in the HUNFED building in Kailua.
So anybody who is interested can go in and may look at the document.
They can either go in and look at the document, or for a relatively nominal cost, purchase a copy.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all the time we have for tonight. I'd like to thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for being with us tonight, and we'd like to encourage you to write to us if you have any questions or concerns, and we may in the future address those on the air for our viewers. Write to us, please, at Issues and Insights, Box 715, Kealakekua, Hawaii, 96750. Thank you very much, and good night.
Studio facilities for Issues and Insights have been provided by the Kona Surf Resort, which features Orchid-class service. If you've come away forming your own opinions about county planning, well, we'd like to hear from you. Drop us a line here at Channel 6. We'll bring up that address once more in just a moment, but first, our community billboard. The newly formed West Hawaii Symphonic Band is looking for additional musicians. If you're a brass, woodwind, or percussionist, you're asked to call 323-3315. Investment Concepts invites you to Art at Ali'i Point, on August the 2nd at 11 a.m. This show is being coordinated by the Showcase Gallery. Call 329-3505. An opening for watercolorist Margaret George will be held at the Studio 7 Gallery up in Holualoa on August the 2nd at 7 p.m. and her show will run throughout the month of August. Dial 324-1335. A choral group by the name of American Music Abroad will perform at the Hotel King Kamehameha on August the 4th at 1 p.m. in the main mall. This concert is free to the public. You may call 329-2911 for all the details. If you're troubled by your teenager's behavior, Tough Love is a support group that could help. They'll be meeting on August the 7th at 7:30 p.m. at the Honalo Business Plaza. Dial 323-3474. And local surfer Shane Dorian will be having a benefit fundraising surf meet August the 9th down at Banyans. Money raised will help send Shane to England to compete in the amateur surfing contests, and more fundraisers are planned for August. Dial 329-4140. For you to post your event on our billboard, we ask that you give us all the details about 3 weeks in advance and just send it in to Community Billboard, Box 715, Kealakekua, Hawaii, 96750. And don't forget that same address also applies to Issues and Insights. Well, that's going to wrap things up for this evening's program. We'd like to thank the folks here at the Kona Botanical Gardens for having us over this morning. And we'd like to thank you for watching. Don't forget, next Wednesday night, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m., we bring you another edition of Weekly Highlights. Until then, I'm Lyman Medeiros. Thanks a lot for watching and good night.